Before we get on to the guest of the week, we got some good sound here, right? From Tony Ferguson. Can you set this up?
Yeah, let's get to that sound. So, okay, Tony Ferguson is fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov for the interim lightweight title, which, by the way, do you feel like this is as much hype as it's gotten and as hot as it is and as hot as Khabib was in November when he fought in New York? Do you feel like it's kind of flying under the radar a little bit?
It should be a main event, and it should be hotter. I think some of the comments I've heard from Tony in the build-up is true. Like, it's... If you focus and push these guys out there and gave them that real main event push, I don't see how people would not be like, wow, these guys really hate each other. I mean, let's watch the crap out of this. Like, where am I going to be that night? Like, let's do this, right?
No, I mean, this is right up there with TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt as far as the best fights on paper this year that I'm excited to see. And unfortunately, I think the way in which you promote this is you talk about Conor McGregor. You know, you say that Conor McGregor is the lightweight champion. These guys are fighting for the interim championship. The winner will get Conor McGregor, but I think the UFC can't even sell that, you know, because no one really truly believes it. I mean, maybe the winner of this fights Conor, but maybe not. You know, Conor completely calls his own shots, and with Conor tied in the headlines to Floyd Mayweather, you can't give this fight that rub that it needs, and that would be so good for it, and that, you know, here is the guy, we're going to find the Conor McGregor's next opponent, because that's how you sell this fight to the casual fan base, and it hasn't happened.
Maybe that tells you they know what they plan on doing with Conor. Maybe it's not 155. Maybe this is a little spoiler alert, Brett.
Oh, right? Boy, am I smelling a conspiracy theory?
You're always smelling a conspiracy theory. All right.
All right. So back to the audio here. So I did talk to Tony Ferguson on Tuesday of this week, and you know, he was making the rounds. You might have seen him on Fox Sports. Got on the phone with him for a few minutes. We talked about his training methods are unorthodox, you might say. And actually, to set this audio up, the first thing you're gonna hear us talk about is that there is a video on Instagram, and I would encourage anybody who hasn't seen it to go take a look at it. And it's just Tony, you know, no gloves on, shirtless, sweaty. You can tell it's at the end of a workout, and he's just standing there, flexed, letting his Muay Thai coach just continually kick him in the ribs, both sides, left side first, then right side, just over and over again. He's kicking his ribs, and so I was asking Tony, like, what in the world is up with that? So listen to this audio.
When did you first hook up with Conor? Because I saw him, you know, kicking you in the ribs on your Instagram, but I hadn't really seen him before then. Like, how long have you guys been working with one another?
I've been doing that kind of training for a very long time. I take the hard body approach from the Shaolin, and it's something I really, really focus in on and hone in on, because I can take a kick and I can take a punch, and everybody's like, man, how does this guy do it? And I'm like, you know what, this is how I do it, guys. This is a little bit how I do it. I was like, you know what, take a couple shots to the chops, man, and see how you feel afterwards. Your adrenaline's pumping, you got the goosebumps going through your mind, your skin is just on fire, and you just want more of it. Because I'm sick like that, man. I'm out there and I'm an athlete, and it's something that not everybody can do. So I take great pride in that, and being able to get kicked in the ribs by my coach. It's cool. I'll do it all day. But it's something I've been doing for a very long time, and I didn't learn it. It wasn't that somebody taught me how to do it. It's something that I had in my mind. I needed it to get done because this is tough. This is mental toughness. Like I said, I've been doing it for a long time. A lot of people in football like to dish the hits, but they don't like getting hit. I was a cornerback. I never ran away from anything, so I always liked getting hit because it brought the best out of me. It always brought the best out of me because I never had to worry about anything else besides making the play. And when I get hit, it's no different than really, honestly, just doing what I have to do. I mean, when I get hit, I can see the punches or the kicks coming through, and I focus in, I can hone in. It's almost like seeing a fastball when you're batting. You can see every single seam as it rolls in, and you smack, and you hit that contact, and you don't have to worry about anything else because it all just makes sense.
How much of it is like pain training? I mean, are you like putting yourself in pain to just be familiar with it, or is it totally separate from pain?
No, it's completely different. It's a whole different mindset. It's body conditioning. So, I mean, as intense as it looks, it's body conditioning. If you don't condition your body, your mind's going to be weak. And once you take a hit and you buckle, that's not a champion. My championship mentality comes from Grand Valley State, and not even just that, but before then, it's dealing with the hard times, like in Michigan when it was cold, freezing, and being able to go outside and run. And nobody's there holding my hands. And I lived in a park between two counties, and nobody wanted to pay for a stoplight. So I was always running in the dark, and I loved it, man. You know, I was running early in the morning or leading my team to victory by doing all the extra stuff, like doing sprints afterwards or hitting my 12x12 with my weight, which is like a weight set that I learned from Grand Valley. And what it does is it forces me to bring the best out of myself. So if I'm beating myself up, yeah, it's cool, but you got to recover. This is a full-time gig that I do. This is my career. So not only am I beating myself up, but I'm resting. I'm getting mentally focused. I'm asking myself, okay, so why did you do it? I'm like, I don't have to ask myself. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm a veteran in the sport, and what I'm doing is right because I keep winning, and I have a 9-fight win streak on my way to 10. This guy's going to have his hands full. He's got to be able to do all the work, and his conditioning's pretty I've seen it. A lot of power shots, and I get hit hard. So when I see him throw his hardest shot in the beginning of the round, and I just eat it, and I just keep moving forward, and he tries to take me down, and I stuff it, I know his energy level is going to go low. And he's going to have his hands full, buddy. And he's going to see a darts coming, and he's going to be put to sleep. Everybody looks past me. They just think, oh, he's a whatever. I don't have to go into detail with it. When somebody brings up a certain name, it's cool, man. I gave Conor a pass, and I'm going to keep him up to my word because he's having his baby. I understand that. I told him, go spend some of that money that you earn. Go do your own thing. Because you know what? When you want to really come back and do the man sport, instead of quit trying to make that money, because money made McGregors soft. I say McNuggets, you know, because he's made it that fake, that pink stuff from McDonald's that nobody wants. So as far as that's concerned, do I get pissed? Yeah, I get a little heated. But the real belt is between myself and Khabib. He's 24-0. Dude, I'm like, I forget how many wins I have. I don't even care anymore because they just keep racking up, man. It's just like my checks, my performance bonuses. They just keep racking up. And I don't give two man. I'm going to go out there and do what I have to do. And I'm going to perform to the best that I can because I prepared day in, day out, 3 sessions a day, sometimes 4, barely crawling into bed, taking my ice bath, doing what I have to do to get my together and be able to do it again the next day. And then once I see Khabib, he sees that focus, he's going to be like, oh, coach, can you jump in here with me? And then Javi, I'm going to look at Javi, I'm going to dog his ass too. And everybody that's in his corner, that's the same thing I did with RDA. I dogged him out and I dogged his corners out. And they wanted nothing to do with me.
As everybody talks about this fight leading up to it, I think a lot of like analysts, you know, and experts are going to say Khabib's going to try and get this fight to the ground, and if he's able to get the fight to the ground, then he'll win, and if he's not, then Tony will win. I mean, what's wrong with that analysis of the fight?
If he gets to the ground, he's going to have a whole handful because my rubber guard game is increased, my flexibility is there, and I work with Planet Jiu-Jitsu and Coach Eddie Bravo on a regular. And when we were in Big Bear, I was working with Tim like a couple of days out of the week, man. So my focus is not just on the ground. Like, I can beat this guy in all assets, but I want to punish him in the stomach. I want to hit him so hard he has to take a knee and look at his coach to come and rescue him. That's my purpose. I love my boxing game, and I would gladly go toe-to-toe with this dude, and he doesn't want any part of it. When I stuff his shot like I did to RDA or when Josh Thompson tried to take me down and I flip out of it or Granby out, he's going to be so stuck because I control chaos, and he doesn't know how to do that. He panics. I've seen him panic. He lost the T-ball fight, and he cried afterward. Actually, he won the T-ball fight, but that dude cried because he knew he lost. I've seen his ass cry in Sambo, too. This dude's always had handed to him. And you know what? He's not going to get this handed to him. He's going to get my fist handed to him. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, right? Okay, Brett, to your point, that kind of sound right there should be front and center because forget about selling a fight. Forget about selling a personality. Remember when you were taught when you were young, first night in jail, you got to go after the toughest guy, right? You got to punch him in the face. If I'm in jail and I'm looking across from that guy, I'm giving up, Brett. I mean, this is great stuff. When you saw the sick look in his eyes against Dos Anjos, when he's accepting those kicks to the leg, those inside kicks, and almost just smiling at them, you knew maybe he's wired a little bit differently, but this sums it all up, bro.
Tony's always been wired differently, and I think we've seen that evolve, and we've just seen it so many times now because he's been in the UFC for so long, he's been in high-profile fights that we are starting to get to know this guy, and I think it's very, very real that he's at his best once he starts to get hit. The guy, he does have like this weird reaction to getting hit, and it's different than anybody else, and it can break people. I mean, it can really frustrate people and wear on them mentally. I mean, we saw that in the RDA fight. RDA has a heck of a left hand, especially at 155 pounds. You know this, Brian. And he caught Tony with it a lot. I rewatched that fight the other day, and he dropped that left hand on Tony's chin several times early in the fight, and Tony just continues to come forward like it never happened. And when you got a guy like that, I really do think that is one of his best attributes is just his ability to walk through fire and to put pressure on guys. You know, 2 things that he mentioned that I wanted to ask you about are A, how much do you believe in that? Do you believe in the training? Do you think that he training in that way gives him some type of advantage in the fight? And then 2, he said Conor's soft. He said all the money that Conor has made him soft. Do you think there's any little piece of truth to that?
Well, it's that old Marvin Hagler saying that, like, how difficult it is to get up and run when you're sleeping in silk sheets. And we know that Conor's, wearing silk underwear for all I'm concerned at this point. But no, I don't think Conor's soft. I mean, I think that just go back to that 5-round fight with Diaz where you learned that. But is there something to this training? I think if you're as crazy as Tony Ferguson, then yes, because it's so mental, this game, Brett, right? Like, it's so mental. Like, you can be as skilled as you want, but if you don't have that piece, that extra category that you can't define, if this helps a guy like Tony Ferguson build up that pain tolerance and build up that immovable force inside of him, then I think it is effective. But no, I am I a protector of the pretty boys still? I still don't think Conor's soft at all.
No, I don't either. And as far as Tony's training goes, I think it works for him. I don't think it's going to work for a whole lot of people out there. But, I think he's going to live and die by this. I've seen another thing about Tony is that he does put himself in terrible defensive positions sometimes because he's just so willing to put himself in the line of fire. And I think with Khabib, that's he'll have his openings on the feet, but more so, Tony is just a guy who will fall out of balance a little bit because he's so aggressive, and that will open up to the takedowns. 5-round fight though, man, and that's what's so great about this. And we've tried to see this fight a couple times. It hasn't happened because of injuries. The fact that it's a 5-round fight for an interim title, I think that the stars aligned and this was meant to happen, all those injuries, because it's under perfect circumstances now to see this fight.